Jim Sterk, being presented by Sonic.
I'm here, Scott, yes.
Hi,
thanks.
Jim. How are you, buddy?
Great.
All right, we got a lot to talk about.
You guys have had quite a week.
Well, what have you heard?
Well, just, your interviews and then your uncomfortable moments. It's been quite a week.
You probably got a kick out of uncomfortable moments, everybody.
Jim, I hope you heard Charles Barkley this week, or I hope you heard Tony Dungy. But more importantly, I suppose, I hope you heard a very deep and emotional Marshall Faulk this week. Did you hear that?
I didn't. I missed that one, so I was hoping he was the highlight of the week, but I didn't. So I was listening this morning, so did not. But I'll go online and listen.
Yeah, you got to hear it because and I'm sure you, as an athletic director, kind of still in your honeymoon phase at San Diego State, you got to have a great appreciation for a guy who's going into the Hall of Fame and who talks about his affection for his alma mater. And you can't ask for a better recruiting tool than that. And the beauty of it was, Marshall said, I wasn't doing it to be a salesman. I was doing it because I felt it. And I just thought it was an awesome thing. I mean, you must have seen that Hall of Fame speech, right?
Yeah, and he's been that way, since I've been here. I've just been here a short time, but he's, came up with once an Aztec, always an Aztec, and an Aztec for life. And we've used that. The university has used it. The Alumni Association has used it, and he's just a great spokesperson for San Diego State.
All right, so Jim Sterk, the athletic director from San Diego State, being presented by Sonic. And, Jim, we got a bunch of stuff we wanted to quickly talk to you about. I find it to be so disgusting, and I don't mean to be so overly emotional about it, but I love Brian Carwell, and I loved his contribution to the Aztec basketball program. And what bothers me is that you guys put this appeal in for his 6th year so long ago, and here we are a week and a half from the start of school, and basketball is going to start before you know it, and they just finally get to it. What took them so long to come up with this decision?
Well, part of it was, after the season, Brian had to decide he wanted to come back because he has graduated. He has finished his classwork and all, and so he wanted to make sure, and Coach Fisher wanted to make sure he wanted to come back. And so it was a while before he put his request in and we got the materials. But our folks worked very hard. Jay Larson, our compliance director, worked very hard. He's been very successful with these and knows how to put them together. Got our team doctors involved and the team doctors from where Brian transferred from. And but the rule is pretty clear-cut, so we were fighting an uphill battle, and we were hopeful, though, because they have been more lenient, I guess, with the rules, and when someone goes through a traumatic experience like Brian did, that they give, the kid an opportunity to play and finish and play, 4 full years, and we were hopeful that was going to be the case, but it didn't turn out that way.
But the shame of it is the timing. I mean,
look,
here's what I'm getting at. Here's Brian Carwell, who if in March or April knew that he wasn't getting his 6th year, or even in June if he knew, he could have gone on with whatever his game plan was going to be, but he's put his life essentially on hold, waiting for a decision, and now he's probably 3, 4, 5 months behind. I talked to Brian. He said, look, I want to play pro ball, and it doesn't have to necessarily just be the NBA. I could go over and play in Europe, and there's a job for him somewhere. And I feel bad that he had to put everything on hold waiting for this decision.
Yeah, and hopefully he kept in great shape and played, and so he's ready to make that next step. And I know Coach will help him, and Brian Dutcher will. They'll really work hard to try to find him a place to play, like our other guys from that team. And they all contributed there and had their roles. And the great thing is he can look back, like his quote in the paper, that look back and he contributed to a historic season at San Diego State.
He sure did. We're talking to Jim Sterk, athletic director at San Diego State, presented by Sonic. And, Jim, listen, the situation with Time Warner Cable, and I appreciate how outspoken you've been about this and really candid. The fact that we cannot get Time Warner Cable to pick up the mountain so that people in North County, San Diego, who want to watch the Aztecs play on TV, they say there'll be 6 games on the mountain this year, and half the county is shut out. And I know how many of us have sent emails or whatever to support San Diego State and getting the mountain on. Why is it like this?
Unfortunately, cable companies, they have they're a tough animal to go up against and to try to influence and to try to get movement. But to give you an example, Boise State up in Boise, Idaho, their cable company, Boise, was going to be on the Mountain 5 years ago. They put the Mountain on their cable network and have had it on for 5 years, and they haven't even been in the league. And it's just a travesty that Time Warner has not done that. They have a proposal that's on the table, and we're hopeful that can take place, but we have not heard anything in a few months on it, and so we're frustrated. Mayor Sanders has been frustrated with Time Warner, and actually sent a letter to them asking them to carry the Mountain, and he hasn't even heard back from them. And that's the kind of response. And I hate to tell people to call and all that, because, like I was quoted in the paper, it's phone tree hell to try to get through, to try to find the right person to talk to and be responsive to what your frustration is. And so I think, hopefully something good can happen. If not, then people have to make a decision and unfortunately, sometimes it's going off of their cable network, and that has occurred. And I was one, moved into North County, had a decision, and I went to DirecTV and did that because the Mountain was going to be on there.
Hey, Jim, Vincey Glenn, how are you?
Great. It's been fun to listen to you all week.
Thank you. We talk about the players at San Diego State, Marshall, Carl, and giving back and things. But let's talk about the culture at San Diego State now. You got a basketball team that was ranked highly all last year, went a long ways. You got a football team that's up and coming, that's promising. Are the kids at school around the campus, are they as excited about the upcoming season, basketball and football, as I am? I've been here for 25 years and not being from here. But I am so excited at the way the program is going and the things that you've done the past few years. Are they feeling that on campus as well?
Yeah, it is. It's been fun to see, and San Diego State has been more of a commuter campus, but it's turning into more residential, and there's a lot of apartments, that if they're not on campus, they're right across the street, and we have a high-level mass of students, and our student leaders are a great example. They're excited. They've lived it for the past 4 years, and they think this is going to be a great year, and the students are excited to be a part of it. And last year in football, they kept coming out, and I think it'll be bigger this year. Basketball, obviously, they packed the house and created the show, and they're continuing their plans on for football, and they have the students have a initiative. They have a Spirit initiative that they allocate over $300,000 to do things. And like one of the games, they're going to have Marshall Falk hats, Hall of Fame hats, and they look really great. And they'll be handing those out to 20,000 people when they come. But we've got a great home schedule. People are excited about it. A couple teams in the top 25. State and TCU, and it's a great home schedule. So we're excited about doing that. But getting back to the Mountain, the Mountain carried in 26 states. It's 3,000 zip codes. It's around. It's a lot bigger than what people think. But people in San Diego have been deprived because they haven't had it in North County.
Right on. We're talking to Jim Sterk, the athletic director at San Diego State. Hey, Jim, before you go, Saturday at Qualcomm Stadium, Family Day for the football team. Is that open to the public? Can you just tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, it's a free event. You can go there if you want to come early. The real scrimmage will start around 6, but there's an alumni scrimmage, if you will, flag football game. You can see guys pull their hammies and do all that as they're trying to run. But there'll be a lot of characters out there, and that's been fun in the past. And we'll also have kind of a flea market, if you will, of Aztec gear that's there, and people can buy that. And so it'll be a fun time, and you'll get to interact with the players, and it'll be a great Aztec night.
Looking forward to it. Saturday evening, Qualcomm Stadium. Hey, Jim, great talking to you this morning. Thanks for the candid opinions on the Time Warner situation. Too bad about the Brian Carwell thing, but we will look forward to seeing you hopefully this Saturday.
All right. Thanks, Scott.
All right.
Thanks, Vince.
You
All
got
righty,
it.
you got it.
All right, Jim Sterk, presented by Sonic on the Corky's Hotline.